Hi everyone, it's Tim from PC Gamer here, and we're here to talk about PC Game of the Year, which is a very big deal for us. So we've got 5 highly commended entries that we want to talk through and say why they're great, and there is only one winner. It's like Highlander. The first highly commended entry that we want to talk about is Limbo, which is a 2D black and white platform game that came out on the PC in early 2011 that is just fantastic. Tom, you've played a lot of it.
Yeah, it's this really kind of dark and almost quite nasty idea that you're a kid who has kind of died or gone to the afterlife, and it's really, really stark graphics. You are completely, you're just a black silhouette on a black silhouette, and there's just like faint white background. Run around, beautifully animated, really kind of haunting, strange world, all like perfect physics. And really interactive and kind of tactile.
And it's got mind worms.
And then you actually run into the living creatures in this place, and they're just horrible.
They're really nasty.
There's just this like quiet menace to them. Like you meet, there's like a dragonfly, and it doesn't really do anything horrible to you, but it's just so sinister. And then when you meet actual people, no one says anything. They just do horrible things to you and run away.
It's also the worst game in the world to play if you're an arachnophobe, famously Richard Cobbett, one of our writers, is. We made him play it. It was funny. If you're an arachnophobe, play it and let other people laugh at you. So the next game that we want to talk about is another great big game that came out in 2010 but has kind of dominated 2011, and it's worth kind of considering. And that's Minecraft. Minecraft was finally released this year.
Yeah, that's cool.
Notch finally
looking forward to that.
Notch finally got around to putting a 1 at the end. So why Minecraft in 2011, Tom?
I mean, basically, Minecraft is this living, organic thing that keeps evolving and keeps changing in loads of different ways. One of which is the community. The online servers where people build things together are just incredible. And our own server is this like wonderland of amazing like tributes to video games and incredible palaces and subway systems and just incredible creativity and hard work. And then also the game itself keeps changing. They've been updating it even as they work on all kinds of other things at Mojang. And they've done loads of cool things to the terrain generation, so the world is randomly generated, and that to me is one of the great pleasures of it, is when every time you start a game you're exploring this whole new world, and they've made it they've added loads more interesting things that you can encounter in those worlds, like these huge ravines and abandoned mines and villages and stuff, and just gets more exciting to play all the time. I
think it's easy to look at what people do with Minecraft and think, wow, that's amazing, and that's what makes Minecraft good. I don't think that's necessarily true. I think the pleasure in it for me often is just being with 2 or 3 people and just exploring and making something quite humble. That's still fun, and I love it to bits. I guess the next game we want to talk about for our Game of the Year awards is League of Legends, which is, again, another one we're late to every party. League of Legends has been out for quite a while, but 2011 it was just huge. So Rich, you've been playing it. What's to like about it?
I played it originally when it first came out, and it had the sense that it could be something that had a community, and then the community came along, and the community has its problems because they're not the friendliest bunch of guys sometimes, but it's a game that draws you in. It's a game that you can play it. There's one of 70, 80 heroes that you can play as, and they all change the way you play. Like you can be a tank, you can be a long range person, and my game is completely different to your game. It's completely different to Owen's game. We're all playing the same game at the same time, and we all need to play the same game perfectly, or else we lose. And it's fostered a sense of teamwork that I don't think you get very many places.
I think Dota clones in general, they're just basically fun. The thing that makes League of Legends really kind of smart for me is that it has a huge base of people to play with. The free-to-play thing is expertly done. The fact that there's always a bunch of free characters for you to play with. You can always play for free forever if you want to, but if you want to buy some, then go nuts. I think that's really fair and really kind of cute.
I think for this year as well, the fact that the figures and people who now play it is bigger than World of Warcraft, and this is why we're putting it in this year, because this year's the year it really blew up.
But I think as well it's just an incredibly polished game. They spent a long time working on Dominion, which is the new mode, and it is so fast, it's kind of devastating and bewildering, but it's super fun.
They fixed all the issues people had. Was it took so long to get into a game, and it was always the same intro, whereas now everything is kind of 15 minutes and it's over, which is exactly fixing the problems many people have with it.
And it's just amazingly polished. They're still patching some of the heroes, they're still making it work. They've got a job of balancing 70, 80 heroes or whatever it is, but they're still working on it, and it's just great. And I can't wait to see what Riot do in 2012, really, because they are just completely on fire at the moment. The next game I want to talk about, another strategy game, is Shogun II, which came out kind of early 2011. I just want to say about the campaign map in Shogun II, it has created some of the most fun situations I could have imagined in games. Times when my general's been kind of stuck behind enemy lines, holding a castle, there's like 100 of them left, and there's 1,000 archers coming over the hill and going out to charge. It makes the characters in the game feel like heroes, and you care about them so much. It's just absolutely wonderful. I utterly love it. I can't get over how much fun I have in it.
I think the sense of place is what the campaign map gives it, because you know when you're fighting on a coastline, you're not just fighting on an abstract map the game's picked for you. You're fighting on a coastline, and you have to think, if I fight them here or if I get ambushed here, I'm in trouble, because I'll be up against the wall, up against these mountains, and you have to dig your way out. Whereas
I found a kind of a strategy in Shogun 2 that I think might break the game, but is really entertaining, which is you load up a load of people into boats and you just go reeving along the coastline and attacking other like small towns. You don't try and hold them, you just demolish them and take all their money and run away.
You work quite off the Vikings.
Yeah, exactly. So I have like a band of Japanese Vikings, and they are cool.
Yeah.
That's why Shogun 2, I think. The next one is kind of the big shooter action game of 2011, which was Deus Ex: Human Revolution. Now, can you remember the moment you realised Deus Ex was good?
No, because it was a slow process of denial and inner turmoil and hang-ups and neuroses. When I first saw it, it looked great. Like we were a bit sceptical about some of the things they'd said in interviews before, and they're being very cagey about it. And then actually seeing it in action, it's really beautiful. Like the art style is so gorgeous, and it looked like it was going to be really fun to play, and also have all the interesting options and flexibility that Deus Ex had. And then we played it, and it did. And we're all kind of stunned. Like, it was just hard to believe that this actually happened.
Yeah. I think it's got to be the best debut of any studio in the past kind of 5-10 years.
So so many people have tried to make a game like that, and none of them really come anywhere close to Deus Ex, and this is very nearly as good as the original Deus Ex, and that's really saying something.
And also moral choices and shit, like the good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, the actual... the story element of it is almost better done than Deus Ex, I think, in many ways. You have these huge city hubs that you're completely free to explore and do side quests and find little stories that are going on in the background that all really flesh out the world and give kind of context to it and talk about the political goings on. I think better than Deus Ex ever did.
Yeah. Rich, you really love Deus Ex. What kind of brings it to the top for you?
I think it's just the choice, like Tom said. My favourite thing about the game, I've thoroughly enjoyed playing it, but it was coming to the office the next day and saying, hey, did you do this bit? And then Tom going, well, I didn't know you could do that. And Graham saying, oh, I tried to do that, but did this instead. And having people do things in different ways and feel like I could do things in different ways. Like every time I always play Deus Ex, and I play through Deus Ex 1 a lot, I always do the same thing. When I go back to Deus Ex now, I want to do different things, which I think is the mark of kind of, actual freedom of choice and expression and that kind of thing.
I think one of the things for me is that it's quite hard to make a stealth game where you feel both simultaneously powerful and fragile and still fun, because there's a kind of very narrow window of fun in that. Either you can feel too powerful or too kind of thin, and yet with all the options available to you, you still felt on the edge of disaster and failing. It never felt. It is a hard game. But when you get it right, it's just a great feeling. Also, you can punch through walls, and like any game that lets you do that is just onto a complete winner. So finally, our PC Gamer's Game of the Year. It seems like an obvious choice now, but I don't think we were that kind of realised it was going to be that good a game. Skyrim.
We knew it'd be good, but it was hard to imagine it was going to be this huge new thing that was going to totally blow us away, because it was so like Oblivion, like in terms of basic.
I looked and went, yeah, that'd be great. That's Oblivion 2. I didn't think it was going to be whoa.
And it came out, and the difference for me is that a lot of the systems are very similar to Oblivion. The sense of freedom you have is amazing, and one of the key appeals, and that is the same as Oblivion. But the world is so different. It's just because it's mountainous and snowy and so dramatic. It just feels completely limitless. You can go absolutely anywhere, and it always feels like there's something interesting over the next peak or summit. And there is. It's actually completely packed with just these amazing dungeons and weird ruins and icy caves and towns and stories and quests. And it's just so interesting to explore.
Rich, you've been playing it loads. What kind of you're a cat person?
No,
that's Graham.
Graham's a cat person. Yeah, Tom's a lizard. Tom,
you're a lizard.
No, Tom, you're a dark elf.
I am a dark elf. Tom Senior's a lizard.
Tom Senior's a lizard.
Right.
Got the whole gamut of races on the team.
So what makes it work for you?
I think it's the sense that Oblivion was massive, and I loved Oblivion, but it was also quite empty a lot of the time. You walk around and you'd be lost in the forest, and you realise that there wasn't really much there. You might find something amazing. In Skyrim, you can't move for amazing stuff, but it also manages to make it feel like it is this vast expanse. I mean, I was up on the northern coast recently, and I say that like it's a real place, and from part of it is. I was up on the northern coast, and I kind of just went for a walk and found a guy who lived in this ice cave. Like I found out later he's part of the main quest, but I just found him on a whim, and he was tinkering stuff and talking in riddles, and I was like, I would never have found him if I hadn't just gone for a wander and had the belief that there would be something there that developers gone, wait a minute, someone might do this, and someone has.
For me, it's the sense of design in the world. It's not that it's just rammed; it's very carefully directed. I think even from the first moment you come out of the opening area, as gamers, we like to test the limits of what games can do. And the first thing you do is you're pointing down a hill, and that's where the main quest is. So you automatically turn around the other way. And if you do that and walk for about a minute, you'll come across an amazing thing. And Bethesda know that you're going to do that and decide to reward you for having that sense of exploration. That is just brilliant design, and it is the best game of 2011. So I hope you've enjoyed these videos. I hope you've had some fun watching them. Let us know what your best games are, obviously, in the comments. And if you want to follow us on Twitter, we are @PC_gamer. Thank you.